Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads. This is Lang Yarns Cashmerino. This 55% superwash merino, 33% acrylic, 12% cashmere yarn features 32 colors. The colorway that we chose is 63 Apple. This 50-gram skein with 125 meters or 127 yards works up as a sport to DK weight yarn. The suggested gauge on a US 4 or 3.5 millimeter needles is 25 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. For our swatch, I will be using a 4.5 millimeter needle size. In today's video, we're going to review and score Lang Yarns Cashmerino using our 5 categories, which are availability, softness, traction, durability, and cost, to help you decide if this is the best yarn for you and your next project. Stay tuned until the end for a few pattern recommendations as well. Would you like to see how all of our yarns compare to one another or enter to win our monthly giveaway? Join our free newsletter linked in the description box below. Let's get started. For availability, we give Cashmerino a score of 3.5 out of 5. Although the company Lang Yarns doesn't originate here in the States, this yarn has a bit of a footprint at smaller shops. That being said, it's not as popular as some other yarns that we have seen, giving this one an average score on accessibility. For softness, we give it a score of 4.7 out of 5. Even though there's only 12% of it, I could feel the softness of the cashmere mixed in with the merino. But as much as I wanted to rave about this yarn, it just didn't really stand out to me. Yes, it's soft and that's great, but it didn't knock my socks off. I was disappointed with the acrylic content in this yarn. I know a lot of fiber enthusiasts wouldn't consider working with this yarn because it's not all natural and has that plastic in it and a superwash treatment. For a comparison, it is softer than Cascade Yarn's 220 Superwash Merino and not quite as soft as Hobie Soft Alpaca. I'd say it's pretty comparable to Barocco Pima Soft. For a micron count or softness scale rating, Merino averages around a 21, but we believe this one to be a softer 18 or even a 17 micron count, closer to a cashmere than a rustic wool feeling. So if you are sensitive to more rustic wools like I am, you shouldn't notice any sign of irritation when working with this yarn. It was marketed to be for knitting garments and blankets for babies and children. Now, if you've seen our acrylic yarns video, you may know how I feel about acrylic yarns for baby makes, a big no-no in my opinion. But I understand their reasoning. Cashmere is expensive, and maybe the merino yarn was expensive too, so by adding a little bit of acrylic rather than more natural fiber, it could have kept costs down or been a reason for the yarn to take the dye better. We're not quite sure. Now, both wool and cashmere are of course breathable, but the acrylic is not. So I would just keep that in mind if you're considering this yarn for a project. For traction, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. The construction of this yarn is actually what made it a little bit trickier, even though it is a soft yarn. It is round, and unfortunately this is what split and came undone while working with it. It wasn't too tricky by any means, but I couldn't mindlessly knit with it either. Otherwise, it has a great glide, hardly any fiber sticking up like you would find in a twisted yarn. Its very clear stitch definition could also be a drawback, as I think it would show inconsistencies between stitches. For durability, we give it a score of 4 out of 5. Although this yarn includes 3 different fibers, merino, acrylic, and cashmere, it's not really the strongest yarn, but it's alright. Merino is delicate on its own, acrylic will last forever because it's plastic, and quality cashmere can easily last if it's properly taken care of. When it came to the stress test, we noticed a medium amount of pilling, probably due to the soft merino fibers and potentially the cashmere too. So I would just inspect your garment after you wear it in case you need to do some shaving or maintenance. For cost, we give it a score of 2.7 out of 5. For being a 50-gram skein, you can expect to pay $11 US per skein. That breaks down to about 8 cents per yard, meaning a size medium sweater would cost approximately $99, which is a little high in my opinion for a yarn that over a third of the fiber content is acrylic. Overall, we give Lang Yarns Cashmerino a score of 3.88 out of 5. It's a soft yarn, not too difficult to get your hands on, and has some luxurious cashmere content. Would I jump at the opportunity to get to work with this yarn again? Probably not, only because I try to avoid working with acrylic like the plague. It's kind of like nails on a chalkboard for me, but that's just personal preference. So we had a little look on Ravelry and wanted to share a few pattern recommendations with you, hopefully to inspire you if you're wanting to use this yarn for a project of your own. The first pattern is the Adamstuen sweater by Guri Pedersen. It comes in 9 sizes ranging from 0 to 3 months up to 10 to 12 years. It suggests using a DK weight yarn and a US 6 or 4mm needle size to meet gauge. It is knitted top down in a 2x2 broken rib pattern. First, the yoke is knitted with raglan increases. Then, sleeve stitches are put on hold while you knit the body. The sleeves are knitted in the round with decreases on double pointed needles. The next pattern is Bloom by Grace Jones. It comes in 7 sizes ranging from 0 to 3 months up to 3 years. It suggests using a DK weight yarn and a US 2, 3, and 5 or 2 3/4, 3 1/4, and 3 3/4mm needle size to meet gauge. The front, back, and sleeves are all knit flat from the bottom up in panels. It features a colorwork section on the yoke and wide ribbing on the collar, cuffs, and hem. For preference, I would probably eliminate the edge stitches and knit this in the round, especially with the colorwork detail section on the yoke. The last pattern is the Lynleigh Cardigan P173 by OGE Knitwear Designs. It comes in 4 sizes ranging from 0 to 6 months up to 18 to 24 months or 2 years. It suggests using a sport weight yarn and a US 4 or 3.5mm needle size to meet gauge. It is worked from the top down in one piece. The sleeves are divided and then worked in the round. It features a simple lace pattern that is worked around the yoke. The sleeves have turn back cuffs that are worked in a garter stitch. Have you used Lang Yarns Cashmerino yarn before? What yarn would you like for us to do a review on next? We would love to hear your thoughts and recommendations in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's review, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.